Okay, hey guys. So I just made my fifth grade video. I'm gonna do my sixth grade now because the other one didn't really have much in it, and I remember a lot more from sixth grade. So let's get started because this one might be a long one. So when you're in sixth grade here, you are elementary school senior. You are the last year, and so you act like you rule the school. I remember when I was younger, everybody would go like they would cut in line and be like, "Oh, sixth graders, we rule, whatever." And so as soon as we get into sixth grade, everybody's freaking out. Yes, we rule. We're the awesome ones. We rule the school. No one can talk bad to us or whatever. And so we were like the most awesome people in the world, obviously. I mean, come on. And so everyone was always excited, and yeah. And I remember the play. I remember going to the play. We were doing Into the Woods, and I should have the script somewhere in this house because I never gave it back. But yeah, and I remember that like I was the baker's wife, which doesn't seem like a big role because she doesn't really have a name. At least I don't think she has a name. I don't remember. And I was like so excited. She was like one of the lead girls. It was Cinderella, and then there was the baker's wife. Those were the two leads. And for once, I was a lead, and I was so excited. And yeah, and then I ended up getting sick. Not during the play though. Like it was during rehearsal still. The play was only like 2-3 months away still. And I remember coming back the next day to school, and I was going to play practice, and the teacher, Monsieur Francois, he's like, "Oh, Sylvie, you didn't hear? The play's been canceled." And I was like, looking at him like, "What? I'm finally a lead, but you canceled the play? What the hell are you thinking?" And it turns out that like the girl that was playing Cinderella, she wanted her friend to be in the play too, and I'm not gonna name these people's names or something. And like she got like really pissed off that her friend didn't get a role or something like that, and or she didn't get like a bigger role or whatever. And so they were like always fighting and whatever. And then he's like, "Play's canceled. Get over it." And yeah. And so I was like really pissed off. And then he's like, and yeah, I'm very stammery. Okay, and then I remember that he, he had, because it was all sixth graders that were causing problems, like fifth and sixth graders, that he decided that he was going to put a choir together instead. And so he did, and he said that it was only going to be from grade 1 to grade 4. And so I remember going, and he came up to me, and he's like, "Sylvie, I know that it wasn't your fault that the play got canceled. You weren't even there. You were one of my best performers in the school. You really deserve that part. So would you like to be in the choir?" And I'm looking at him like, "But it's only for little kids." And he's like, "No, you could be in the choir. You can sing with them because I know you could sing, and you could be like you could be like my assistant." So like I would hand out papers and whatever, and then I ended up getting a solo for it. I remember that very well. And like I was supposed to be the only one with a solo. There was only one part with a solo. It was like, I don't know if you guys know the song "Love Just Is" by Hilary Duff, but we ended up doing that song. And so the solo was the first verse and the second verse. Well, it was two solos, but it was only supposed to be one person, or something like that. And so I was supposed to do verse 1 and verse 2, and the teacher told me, and then he's like, "I'm gonna have some other people audition. You already have it. I'm gonna have some other people audition just because I want them to have a fair shot." I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, sure, whatever." And he told me that I was like the one that he wanted the solo for, but that he wanted to give a few other kids a solo. So I was like, "Yeah, sure, definitely." So but he like made it so that it was both of our decision. Like he told me about it, and if I would have said no, I do not want anyone to have a solo except for me, no one would have. But I said, "Yeah, sure, it's fine, give him a solo." So I got like the first verse of the song, and then this two other girls had this other verse. So it wasn't technically solos for them, but like they had it. And then the rest of that verse, like they only had half that verse, and then it was another girl. And I remember getting really pissed off because I had the biggest part, yes. And that's kind of, I was like very selfish. I always wanted my own part, and I was like, yeah. And so then I'd have to walk back. We'd do the chorus. The two girls would walk up. They'd do their part. They'd walk back. The other girl would come back, and she'd do hers. But instead of walking back after her part, she ended up staying there and singing the rest of the song. And I was like, "What the hell? You're supposed to walk back." And so she ended up being like the star of the show, and the teacher ended up getting really pissed off at her because she wasn't allowed, because I don't want to be mean, but she wasn't like that great of a singer. I'm not saying that I was like a lot better than her. I'm not, okay? But like she wasn't that great of a singer or whatever, and so yeah. What else? Oh, that was the year I graduated elementary school. I remember that we had our, oh, okay. We had our little graduation ceremony. We didn't have the caps and gowns like most people did, but so we just like got dressed up and whatever, and everyone had to do their own little, okay, wait, no, I have another part first. We went to Quebec City, okay? And I remember we went climbing up a mountain, and I was like, oh my god, I really hate this. I hated climbing up mountains. Like, you keep me walking, I'm fine, but if you want me to go uphill, a steep hill, I'm gonna freak out. So yeah, so I was complaining like the whole time. And then, okay, yeah, and so we were there, and then we had our own hotel room. It was supposed to be camping. It was a camping trip, but we had a hotel room. It was very weird. And I remember that it was like almost summer, but there was still snow up in Quebec City, which was really awesome. And we didn't like get to shop or anything, and I remember that. I remember I got a room because like we didn't get to choose our rooms, but I got a room with my best friend Andrea, and we had a room with this other girl who was also named Andrea. And well, my best friend's Andrea, this girl's Andrea. It's, yeah, they're different. And I hated that girl, and yeah, and I remember getting woken up in the middle of the night with the teachers like, why are you girls making so much noise? And it turns out Andrea and Andrea were like running around, and it was so weird. And so they had to like tape our room shut so they wouldn't leave, and then they kept talking, and I almost got in trouble even though I was sleeping, so yeah. Okay, yeah. And then for graduation, I wore this dress. Hold on. Okay, this is the dress I wore because, like, right after the trip, wow, okay, right after the Quebec trip, the day right after we get back, it was my confirmation. So, wow, a lot happened that year. Okay, so for my confirmation, I had to wear this dress, okay, and I had, like, a shawl over it, and then, like, I still had the dress, and I didn't want to buy a new one for graduation, so I just, like, wore it again, and I don't know if it still fits. I wish it did. It's kind of like a cute little dress. Okay. And I have no idea where the shawl is. I wish I did. Okay, I have like 2 minutes. Okay. So during graduation, you had to do your own speech. Everybody had to do a speech, so I did my speech. And my best friend did her speech too, and she ended up crying. It was so funny. And then, like, they were giving out awards, and I got 2 awards. One that's here, which is the Humanitarian Award, and I got like a medal too. This is my plaque. Not everyone got a plaque, and I was very excited that I did. And I got the award for not getting into like any fights, which is like a big accomplishment because I wanted to kill everyone. And I have another one that my nephew was touching, so I don't know where it is right now, but it's just like a little medal, and it's for music, and yeah. And I also ended up winning a bike, and I was very excited because like one of the teachers went up, and she's like, okay, so the winner of this bike, I remember during Quebec City, she didn't like climbing up the hill too much, and I was like, well, there were a few people that didn't want to climb, so I was like, oh, okay, who cares? And then she's like, and I didn't know what to say about this girl, and her name means forest, which I found funny since she didn't want to climb. And I started bursting laughing. It was so funny, and because that's what my name means. And so like I went up, I got my bike, and I never rode the bike. I like rode it like when we left. I rode like for a second, and then like they had to. My mom, my sister, and my sister's ex-boyfriend had to go home. And then we ended up having a little dance, and me and this girl Talia, like, we were dancing the whole time. It was so funny because the teachers were trying to pair up the boys and the girls, and we were like, oh, but miss, there's not enough boys, so we have to dance together, and we did, and it was so funny. And yeah, I think that's about it, and I have like 10 seconds to spare, so I would like to hear about when you were in 6th grade. Bye, guys.